We're sitting today in the Flamenco restaurant of the Hyatt Regency Hotel Macau, talking to the master executive chef from the Grand Hyatt Beijing, which is a new hotel, is that right?
Yes, it's been there since the 16th of October, year 2001. And this is a new property for Hyatt to be located in the most important location in Beijing. And we are fortunate and honored to be the hotel operator.
Is it the first Hyatt hotel in China?
No,
Mainland?
this is the number 4th hotel in China.
And you are not from mainland China? You're from
I'm
Singapore.
not. I am a Singaporean working for Hyatt for the last 16 years.
How did you get to Beijing?
I've never thought my life will end up one day working in Beijing. And I never even expect myself that Beijing is such a valuable place that I can gain so much knowledge. And I moved over from Shanghai after opening up the Grand Hyatt Shanghai for 2.5 years. And I moved on there as a support team member. And after some time, they recognized me and they put me as a chef. I started off my career with Hyatt Regency Singapore, which named as the Grand Hyatt Singapore now, as a commis 16 years ago. And I joined Hyatt and I worked there throughout all different kitchens, and I moved on to the position of the number 2 in the hierarchy in the kitchen. And they decided to send me over to Shanghai for a bigger operation, something new to me. And I have fortunate enough and honored enough to be given the opportunity, and I take it. This job is very much a is actually a hand-on job. You have to cook. A chef cannot just work in the office. You have to cook. But of course, you should also start planning for future. Overcooking in the kitchen will only make you stay where you are. And in order to lead the big kitchen members, or you call the kitchen brigade, to a new standard, you need to plan. And cooking is important because you need to show the guy how the food should be cooked and how you want it. And it takes a lot of love and care, a lot. I used to be a chef, always thinking cutting vegetable, peeling vegetable, the quickest will be the head of the kitchen. One day I was so proud, I sharing my kind of achievement with one of my teacher one day, and he said to me, Jack, if I'm the owner, I'm not going to pay big money for somebody who knows how to cut the vegetable quickest. You know, you have to learn how to manage. You have to have multi-skill. And for a chef to grow, should not only limited in the kitchen alone. You should buy some books to read, to change yourself through your mind. And you should understand the history. Through the history, you understand about managing, about people. And for that, it will help a lot with your changes. And you have to understand how people think. Understanding people will make you a better manager. I've never tried any fast food for the last 19 years. Never even know how fast food run. And I even feel embarrassed of walking in because there is so-called a higher status restaurant for poor guy. And at the age of 19, I have no clue how a Western cuisine tastes. And my English was so bad, and I am now, of course. I decided to take up the course as an apprentice in this catering school in Singapore. And the dream is just to make sure that one day I can be a cook and I can get through my hunger and my thirst. And that's what I want. And this whole progress of being apprenticeship was tough. I never know a chef you need to do so much thing. And I cut my hand as many as 3 to 4 cuts a day for the last 1 year plus. And of course, I'm a tough guy. I never burn myself and I get a few days off. I believe every job is a responsibility. And if you have to get into a career, you have to go from beginning to the end. You can always move on from one way to another, but every job has its own challenge. and you have to cross the challenge, and you have to solve it. In my country, Singapore, we are very particular about English. And if your education, you cannot get through English, you fail your whole career. And I thought, life is so, I don't want to end my life working as a technician. Of course, there's no discrimination on that, but I want to travel, and I want to grow. And I always have a big dream to become a lawyer or an engineer. But this is only my dream. And I realized that if one day I could become an engineer or a lawyer, I will not be a good in either one of the career. But being a chef, I read a lot and I watch a lot what people is doing. I know I'm not a talented guy, but you have to understand your weakness. You have to improve your weakness, overcome it. And you don't expect colleagues to teach you. They don't work there to teach you. They are not meant to teach you. You have to educate yourself. And this is how we grow. I am very tough all the time with discipline. And when I was a commis or when I was a chef de partie, I'm always pushing a lot on my subordinate. Now I'm growing and I understand more, and I do understand that over pushing will not encourage positive result. And if one day I'm given the opportunity to share my knowledge that I've gained so much in China, I would like to share as much with my colleagues as possible. But of course, if there's always the opportunity, I like to share with anybody. For the chef, it's very much a physical job. If it's a commis coming in or apprentice, I would expect an attitude comes first. Skill, actually, I don't really care much. It's not the major. And I bring a fresh guy with a good attitude, I can shape the way I want it. But if it's a chef de partie, it means a section leader in the kitchen. You need to know how to cook. So I make him to do a tasting. Of course, you will never make him to cook the way you want, but you ask him, what can you cook best? If you say, my mom's fried rice, then you do it then, and then I taste it. If your best is still not my best, and I cannot accept it, that's not my standard. This is a question that everybody asks me, what can I cook best? Sometimes I even confuse, but I don't even know what I can cook best. But the basic of me is simple. If I know how to cook, I will cook the best with my heart and love. If I cannot cook, I will learn and I will tell you I'm sorry, I cannot cook it. And I will have to do my best. When I was young, I used to admire many chefs. But then admiring chef with the cooking skill alone is not enough. A chef has to cook good food. That's his profession. This is nothing to be proud of. But a chef with a good managing style, concept, planner, and many more things. That's what I mean, an excellent guy. Of course, there's a person that I always have a lot of respect. And of course, he's my mentor, Mr. Andreas Stauder, the Vice President of the Food and Beverage in Asia Pacific for High International. And I always believe with his guidance and mentor, that's where I am today. I'm so proud to be his disciple, and I always do, and I have a lot of respect for a person like him. And of course, another person that I respect a lot is my mom, who cooks the best. Sometimes I feel we tend to take our job too easy. We tend to bypass too many corners. We have to start taking every job by love and care. This is where I share with my colleagues, we are not working for the company. We are not working for your boss. You are working for yourself. You are just like owning your small little business in this big area, and you have to do the best you are, and if you are doing good, you get a chance to continue. And we don't work for today, we work for tomorrow. And I work for tomorrow. When the times is good, start planning for something better and improve. When times is bad, start be conserved and keep low profile and see where is your weakness and improve it and be prepared for yourself for the best time. We always thought we want to do food as authentic as possible. But many of the time, nobody really understands what the old days people preparing their food. How do they prepare their food? We can only estimate and roughly give a guideline. But I feel food today is no more as the old days. Old days they arose with wood. They don't work with energy supply from machinery or whatever. In old days, the connection between people and people all around the world are just not there. Whatever they have is things around them. But today, people are looking for food with a little bit more touches. Not changing the style, but improving the food and the whole presentation. And that's what I mean. We have to learn from the past, but we cannot stick as the past. I pick up ideas from a jewelry shop. I pick up ideas when I visit a garden. I pick up ideas from people working in their career. You see, today our job as a chef, especially you manage a big kitchen brigade, you can't work just the way you are. You have to see, for example, you ask yourself, sometimes we tend to swelling on our own career, like the toughness, but you have to sit back and watch outside. That's what I said to my colleagues. I said, when you are overworked, you should look outside on the streets of Beijing or Shanghai. You always get to see old ladies and old men pulling cartons of rusty metal bar throughout this dangerous road. Never know what is the next second like. And it may cost them peanuts. And they get through the life. But then you ask yourself, you're in a nice environment with safety more or less ensured, and you have everything you need. You're so lucky. And I always say to my colleague, we may be tough, but we only sit there and grumble. Let's put it this way. The average kitchen brigade age is about 25 years old to 30. Yeah, very young, but very good future. Just lack of a few elements for success. The last 25 years may not be as good as what they expect, or they have abused it, but let's take that as a history. But you have another 30 years old to turn away your life the way you want. Make the way you want. But look at that, those old ladies and old men, they have no more chance. Whatever they left is what they have now. So they put a lot of life and effort on their next generation, and this is life.
Why do chefs always wear white uniforms?
This is what I said to my teacher 20 years ago. I said,
Should
why
be
should
black.
we wear black? He said the simple thing is if you put on black, if it's dirty, nobody knows. And I think it's true. And I used to be a modern guy asking for nice modern uniform, but now I'm thinking everything the basic way is still the best way.
Because we're at this point in Macau, what is Macanese food?
Macanese food actually reflects to the history. Funny thing is, many people confuse about Macanese cuisine if they have never been into Macau. It combines with different culture from South Africa, the Thai, the Indian, the Chinese, the Portuguese, and maybe even more. And with all these multi-racial and it's like melting pot. And that's where Macanese food today reflects every different type of cuisine. Macanese food is interesting, very interesting. And I take it. This job is very much a brew. Is actually a hand-on job. You have to cook. A chef cannot just work in the office. You have to cook. But of course, you should also start planning for future. Overcooking in a kitchen will only make you stay where you are. And in order to lead the big kitchen members or you call the kitchen brigade to a new standard, you need to plan. A new property for Hyatt to be located in the most important location in Beijing, and we are fortunate and honored to be the hotel operator.
Is it the first Hyatt hotel in China?
No,
Mainland?
this is the number 4th hotel in China.
And you are not from mainland China? You're from
I'm
Singapore?
not. I am a Singaporean working for Hyatt for the last 16 years.
How did you get to Beijing?
I started off my career with Hyatt Regency Singapore, which named as the Grand Hyatt Singapore now, as a commis 16 years ago. And I joined Hyatt and I worked there throughout all different kitchens, and I moved on to the position of the number 2 in the hierarchy in the kitchen. And they decided to send me over to Shanghai for a bigger operation, something new to me. And I have fortunate enough and honored enough to be given the opportunity. I've never thought my life will end up one day working in Beijing. And I never even expect myself that Beijing is such a valuable place that I can gain so much knowledge. And I moved over from Shanghai after opening up the Grand Hyatt Shanghai for 2.5 years. And I moved on there as a support team member, and after some time they recognized me and they put me as a chef.
We're sitting today in the Flamenco restaurant at the Hyatt Regency Hotel, Macau, talking to the master executive chef from the Grand Hyatt Beijing, which is a new hotel, is that right?
Yes, it's been there since the 16th of October, year 2001. And this is a